Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Jihan Sumantri and my ID number is 1821222044. And today, me and my friend would like to explain about an article that has a title of Study Abroad, Tourism or Education, a multimodal social semiotic analysis of institutional discourses of a promotional website. Me, as a first speaker, would like to explain about the introduction part, where it consists of three parts. The first is introduction, and the second is MSS view of communication, and the third is discourse, a critical perspective. So here we go. The introduction of this article is it stated that institutional websites are an important semiotic space, not only where information is exchanged, but also where various discourses and ideologies are created through multimodal like language, visual elements and layout and the others. And this study takes a multimodal social semiotic or MSS approach to examining discourses in study abroad or SA promotional website. And taking the institutional website of a leading SA program provider, Arcadia University, the study applies crash models of MSS communication to the analysis of the salient discourses of SA and Arcadia on Arcadia University College of Global Study or CGR's website. And the institutional context of SA has been selected as a site of analysis based on assertions that a student often return home without having achieved the expected learning outcomes of deep understanding of other culture and people. So this is the main problem for study abroad, that they often left without or often return home without having achieved the true meaning of study abroad, like understanding cultures of other culture and people. And MSS view of communication. MSS view of communication. Multimodality is concerned with the use of several modes of communication, their relationship, and the ways they are combined in processes of communication and representation. In here, there are modes and communication. Each other have a defined definition. Modes are meaning-making resources that include, among others, written or oral language, image, gesture, gaze, layout, and color. And in the other hand, for communication in the MSS theory is a rhetorical process where the rhetor, the initiating agent of the meaning-making process, intend to achieve a particular political purpose through the construction of signs in any communication act, according to Crash 2010. And in a Crash model, there are stated that communication involves the act of representation by a rhetor who set an initial message on the ground that prompts an interpreter to respond based on his or her interests. And discourse, critical perspective, it talk about mostly a discourse. And discourse, it's about deals with the production and organization of meaning about the world from institutional position. And institutions that are part of social context of education, law, science, or religion assemble, enact, maintain, and distribute discourse in the form of social knowledge. That the institution meaning are part of the law, science, of religion assemble, enact, maintain, and distribute discourse. It's the meaning. Is in the form of social knowledge. And since social knowledge materializes in speciality and temporally located social practice of one, often governed by institutional norms, it is necessary to examine discourses as a dialectical relationship between a particular discursive event and the situation, institution, and social structure which frame it according to Verkhoff and Wodak. And it stated again that discourses pass from, and the meaning of discourses is pass from one another through communicative science systems such as language. So in this here meaning that discourse will be passed from the other person to the other person by the communicative science system as such as language and other modes through semiotic acts where ideological content operate in order to legitimize certain values associated with, for example, identity, race, gender, power, status, or solidarity. And maybe that's all from me on introduction part, and we will next to move to the next speaker. Of the second speaker in this group is Delia Oktaviani. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I am Delia Oktaviani and my students number is 18, 21, 22, 46 and I'm from class B of Grammar in Multimodal Discourse. So today here I'm as a second presenter, and here I would like to present or show you about the methodology of this journal. Alright, let's get started. This study follows the principle of case study designs in terms of the sample size and depth inquiry. Case studies are selective and focus on specific aspects in order to give a full account of the phenomenon under examination. In this study, the SA website constitutes the case. One approach to examining online material is to concentrate on discursive and rhetorical analysis of content. Example, written text and image. A discursive analytical approach allows for the integration of qualitative and quantitative techniques and befits the multimodal nature of websites, as some content is better addressed from qualitative perspective. An example, relationship between elements in a visual composition, while other contents called for quantitative strategies of systematization and analysis. For example, a number of occurrences of elements in visual composition. Arcadia University was chosen because of the long tradition and success of its SA program, which is corroborated by its prominent position among the top US sending institutions. A single website was chosen because the data from this sample offered substantive analytical units and allowed for deep examination of discourse from the perspective of multiple readers. After perusing the overall structure of the SA website, three distinct spaces were identified. The first is the About Us pages, and the second is the program pages, and the last is the student network, an Arcadia-based social networking site in which students post content. Alright, I think it's enough from me. That is the methodological of this journal. Sorry if it's not quite clear. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, good morning. With Salsabila Balqis here with ID number 1821220075, and welcome to my presentation video. Alright, in this section we will discuss the part findings and discussion on this journal study abroad, tourism or education, a multimodal social semiotic analysis of institutional discourses of a promotional website, state that these findings is separated into two terms. For the first is through the lens of four major components of CREST 2010, theory of multimodal communication, and those are first rather, for design, third is ground, and the last is interpreter. Yes, alright, then let's discuss the next CREST multimodal communication model as exemplified by the CGS or College Global Studies website that was mentioned earlier. First, that is rather. Friends, before we further stages regarding rather, are you still unfamiliar with the term rather? Do you know what that means? Well, so what rather means here is an institution. Okay, based on this journal, it says that Arcadia University is a rather or institution who is complicit in typical processes of materializing institutional discourses. These discourses subtly and overtly govern the individual actors, like the nature and dynamics of the institution underlying system, and become participant rather of the institutional discourse. Alright, for example, the CGS mission differs to the university mission. On the other side, the College of Global Studies at Arcadia University advance the university mission to prepare students for life in a rapidly changing global society. Emphasize. Okay, it is based on Arcadia University mission at 2011. Next is design. Well, design is central to the multimodal social semiotic model. It is here that decisions about genre, mode, discourse, and medium are made. Press said on 2010. In a conversational exchange, identifying rather, designer, producer, and disseminator of a message seems straightforward because a single interlocutor assesses the communicative situation and designs and produces a message. And friends, while I'm delivering the material, we are also discussing about the picture that will be shown on the next screen. Okay, thank you. Alright, I have got on the journal also that genres determine design modes and often also the medium for production. Yeah, websites allows for the integration of multiple modes like audio, image, written language, spatial distribution, and their affordance like hyperlinks, colors, and typography. Yeah, this College Global Studies primarily makes use of image and written language. However, emphasis is placed on the image as the spatial distribution of semiotic elements on the Study Abroad homepage exemplifies. We can see on the picture number 2 that will be shown. Okay, we will start discussing now. Yeah, from this picture, the composition of this picture combines two spaces. First is pictorial and the second is textual. Yeah, the upper and central position of the photo, there there are participants of the study abroad program in Mallorca is the first indicator of the paramount role of image throughout this website. And furthermore, the photo is used as an advertisement. And from the photo depicts American students as citizens of a globalized world characterized by mobility and the opportunity for an educational experience in Mediterranean. Yeah, in the case of advertising, pictorial integration absorbs text into the dream and the fantasy. It's said by Van Leeuwen, 2005. Alright friends, based on that pictures, all over, every single thing on that picture, it has its meaning. Like the color of that deep blue sea and then smiling faces of those students, and then the text, it's including textual, yeah, like that. Okay, the third is ground. Whatever I understand from the journal is ground is a basic things, but on the journal said that ground is the material form of this representation constitutes the message ground from which the process of communication departs. Yeah, what I mean, ground is a basic things is not truly basic things, but I mean basic is same as ground from the meaning, like. Okay, and the last is interpreter. Interpretation takes place when any of the elements of the ground become prompt, or it can be said cepat dan tepat for the interpreter. Although meaning making is motivated by the interest of the sign producer, ideologies always mediate communication, often subjecting the interpreter to the meanings produced by a rather. Yeah, for example, rathers commonly create a message whereby particular criteria is strongly emphasized through semiotic designs such that it alone becomes the prompt that yields a certain expected reaction before. Yeah, and the fun fact, we know that advertising uses this strategy, which explains why a song, a motto, or a product image of that advertisement gets stuck in our minds, right? Yeah, and then for the next presentation, it will be Siti Mardiah's turn. And that's for me. Thank you for all your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. So today I would like to present my part of my group presentations about findings and discussion by Siti Mardiah. Alright, let's talk about it. First, framing of location, the student network. The journal talks about education or tourism. So this is like how the web pages or the promotional websites like package their website into the reader or into the audience of the website. And then let's talk about framing of location, the student network. The themes represented by rather institution in the About Us. About Us is like a part of the web pages or website, and program pages recurred across language and image in the rather students blog, leading to a portrayal of SA, study abroad, as leisure and relaxation through recreational activities undertaken against the backdrop of natural beauty. So this, what I got from this, it's like this is very related into education and what is that? Education and tourism, because mostly in this website it does not talk about education, but more often talk about the recreational or tourism. This is how the website framing of location. And the next point is
So this is the diagrams: Rome locations to the network and Cape Town locations to the network. Mostly they shows about the tourism more, monument around town, cityscape, and then Cape Town's location, student network around town, cityscape, exterior space, field site, interior space, landscape, site of historical, culture, or natural interest. So mostly this is like open for debate. Is like, is it for education or tourism? And then the next point is the choice to frame landscapes above in all the representation of places reflects tourist discourses about Cape Town in a similar way in which monuments reflect Rome discourses, having interpreted multiple signs from popular media promotional websites. So that's sounds similar or looks similar, how represent or making framing of the website in my opinion. And then next point is SA as a commodity, study abroad as a commodity. Why I read on the journal SA as a commodity, the SA experience as package on the website is coupled in a relationship of exchange between money and services, between student and institution. The success of the entire enterprise like tourism relies on consumers' willingness to enter into this exchange. So maybe what this journal means, it's like back to the first statement, is it education or is it tourism? Because mostly this website, maybe this package or this program, it's like bring tourism as something that can make the student, maybe the prospective students, interest into the program. So in the last, this package is no longer merely an experiential learning opportunity for students, but a commodity to be sold and purchased. So SAS, a commodity. So that's all for me, and let's listen into the next part from my friends. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Anita Nur Octavia. My ID number is 18212261. So here I will explain about the conclusions. Based on their premise that facilitating deep learning in SA requires a critical look at the meanings ascribed to SA and their focus of construction. We investigate one of the principal sources where meaning about SA are constructed. The institutional website, taking Arcadia University's SA website as one case. Together, their message persuades students to enroll in the SA program to the creations of desire, pleasure, and reactions. In looking toward future research on SA discourse, it is essential to critically examine the meaning that administrators, students, advisors, professors, and others members of the academic community attach to the SA experience, and the media across which these meanings are circulated. In talk or written text, informal or formal context, look at how these meanings originate, mobilize, and materialize, can provide insight into the disconnect between circular goals and students' expectations, and serve as a catalyst for reflections about how SA is represented in promotions materials. Further research should expand on how the representations enacted in these materials are adapted as discursive practice by SA students. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.